Notice, in accordance with the new copyright regulations, this episode of Quoth is intended for ages 16 and up. While some of the content we sometimes feature on the show is kid-friendly, the context of the episode is to address adults and inform them of said content for them to research as consumers in service of their youth. In other words, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, teachers, librarians, etc. There is the possibility of adult language present on the episode as well, rated TV 16 and up. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 29-year veteran writer and illustrator and editor of science fiction, fantasy, horror, fantasy role-playing games, and comics. And it is a Monday night comics news and reviews show. Usually we have one with it on earlier on the day, but been kind of a crazy day today, so I had to run a little bit later than usual. So let's go ahead and get straight into the questions for this week. Our first question is from various parties. What do you think of the latest hire by Kickstarter, Jamila Rouser, who apparently has chosen to make herself unreachable on Twitter account by people outside of her own social network and has raised the ire of Comicsgate creators and other people? Various parties asked this question. It's a complex thing. If she's using her Twitter account as a personal account, then I understand why. But if it's a professional's account, then it's not a good thing to be doing. She should have two separate accounts, one for her personal life and one for the professional side as a representative of Kickstarter. And the personal side can bar anybody that she doesn't want to deal with on a personal level. And then there's the people who can do things with a professional level, and then she can set some guidelines as to how she expects you to behave on her professional channel. That would be fine, but that's not how she's apparently done it. So, I can understand some of the people's grievances, I suppose, especially people who aren't anyone that have ever talked to her or connected with her in any way, shape, or form, but because they've either talked about Comicsgate on their channel or they have quote-unquote associations with someone from Comicsgate, usually Ethan Van Sciver, they've been blocked on her Twitter account. Again, that I don't know. I mean, if it's her personal account, I think she has a right to block people she doesn't want on her personal account. But if it's used as a professional account, then there's an issue. And I think that the best way to resolve that is for her to have a personal account and a professional account as a representative of Kickstarter. So that's basically how I react to that. Various parties in similar subject matter. Aaron Lopresti's Wraith of God Indiegogo campaign launched this past weekend, with Ethan Van Sciver promoting the launch on his YouTube channel. This caused a huge amount of social media backlash towards the artist, meaning Lopresti. Do you think this was a bad choice on Lopresti's part, or do you think fandom is overreacting? Well, first off, let me say I backed Wraith of God. I backed it before I knew he was even going to be on it. I was the fifth backer on Wraith of God. I was going to back it regardless. Anyway, am I happy that he appeared on Ethan's channel? No. But I think it's pretty well known that I don't like Ethan as a person. Or let me put it this way. I don't like the persona he presents himself as online. That's not necessarily the person he is. And so those are two different things. So let me clarify on that. I don't like the persona he presents himself as online. I watched the launch party. It was very clear that Aaron was not necessarily comfortable being on the show. There was a lot of things that Ethan and his clique do that really aren't Aaron's cup of tea, as it were. But it's also a business, folks. And I kind of liken it to an author who gets picked up by Oprah Winfrey's book club And do we sit there and say, okay, you're a sellout, you're a scumbag because you got picked up by Oprah Winfrey? Not that Ethan is Oprah Winfrey, but it's the same kind of thing where they both have these very strong follower groups that pay money. And so if that's where he can get the money from, that's where he can get the money from. And if people want to get mad about it, then what they really should be doing is not getting mad at Aaron or Ethan. They should be getting mad at themselves because they're not backing channels like mine or other people's channels that would be promoting Aaron otherwise to get him those same kind of backers. And, given the fact that Aaron already did a failed Indiegogo for another book, where he got less than half of what he got in 3 hours on Ethan's channel over a whole 30-day period, there's the proof in the pudding that Ethan's got that kind of power right now. If you want to take it away from him, then you got to start supporting other people who are promoting independent comics, whether that's my channel, whether that's Ted Davies' channel over on YouTube, whether that's other people who aren't big superstars that are promoting crowdfunding or promoting other people's products, trying to give you what insight to what is quality product out there. I can't blame Ethan for backing Aaron. It's a quality product. I have no problem with Ethan backing it. And, if Ethan's fan base want to support him, support Aaron, all the power to him. But, if there's anything to be upset about, it's the fact that he had to go there in order to get seen and get that kind of backing. Aaron's more than enough of a talent that he shouldn't have had to do that. But the proof is he had to, because with his Garbage Man project, he didn't get that kind of backing. He goes over to Ethan, he gets that kind of backing. So it is what it is. If you want to complain about it, don't complain. Change the narrative and give the power to other people so that we can help promote the comics as well. Another question regarding this whole situation of Indiegogo versus Kickstarter. Various people ask me, do I believe if there is an Indiegogo versus Kickstarter mentality in the comics crowdfunding market? And if so, why do I think it exists and can it be corrected? Yes, there's definitely that going on in a business. Part of it is because Kickstarter has had people in there that kind of are, so to speak, anti-Comicsgate. Now, the thing about Comicsgate is most of them are overbearing, overrated, overused, ex-Marvel, ex-DC, ex-Image guys who think their shit don't stink. And they don't understand that part of the reason they got pushed out of the mainstream is because people got tired of them. And the new generation of editors came in, weren't fans of them, and have moved on. Just like 20 years ago when they were breaking into the business, 20, 25, 30 years ago, and they were replacing John Byrne. They were replacing Mike Zeck. They were replacing Herb Trimpe. They were replacing Bob McLeod, Bob Layton, these other very respectable, very qualified talents of their era. And they're saying, well, it's not fair, it's political. No, it's just the way each generation passes on, and your time in being in the spotlight, your 15 minutes of fame, is kind of in its last few minutes. So that being said, it is what it is today. And the problem with Kickstarter is if you have your management, barring anybody, you're going to have some backlash, and justifiably so. But if you look over at Indiegogo, you really don't see any of the unknowns who aren't part of Ethan's click group getting any success either. So there's just as much gatekeeping over there. It's just a different style of gatekeeping. And you have to acknowledge that truth as well. So neither side is really coming from an perspective of superiority or, better than the other in that regard. It's just, policy versus click group control, basically. Brian Anderson asks me, do you think it's possible for a complete nobody to get noticed and be successful in comics via the use of crowdfunding? Why or why not? Yeah, I don't see a reason why it can't happen. And you don't necessarily have to be part of the Comicsgate or any part of other click group. Take a look at my friend Ted Davies, who's been on the show. We've promoted him for Intrepid. We've promoted him for Grim 101. We've promoted him for other projects he's done as well. And recently, one of his projects got picked up for yeah, I'm trying to think of the word, option for film. And he's going to California the next week or so to go finalize the agreement on that. And he doesn't have that kind of backing. He doesn't have huge numbers of sales on the books. He doesn't have, a large contingent of fans going, "Oh my God, you're the greatest thing ever," the way certain people in this business do on the crowdfunding scene. But he's certainly seeing at least a modest level of success. So, I don't know what it is you're looking for, but if that's any case of example there, then yeah, a complete nobody, because Ted was just starting in the business a year and a half, 2 years ago. So I would say that's not, it's certainly doable. It's just having your product seen by the right people at the right time. And via cartoonist kayfabe, fan side seats or whatever, do you think Chris Claremont should return to writing the X-Men now that Jonathan Hickman has left the book? This is a comment or a question that's always brought up anytime the writers leave and the next generation of writers come into the X-Men, as to whether or not Chris should be coming back and writing the book. At this point, Chris is kind of outmoded as a writer for those characters. They've been changed too much to really suit what he does. In my opinion, I think he's better suited to be a comics historian and editorial mentor on the X-Men than the straight up writer in that regard. And that's not Chris's fault, that's Marvel's. I mean, the only way that I could see Chris really being the full-time writer again is if they did what was called Plan B by Claremont himself, and that would be to basically come up with a way to erase the entire continuity from a certain point back when he was writing the book. And it goes way back to pre-X Factor. So we're talking 85, like 35 years of continuity here. And that would be doable, but it would also tick off a whole lot of fans. So I just don't see it as something viable at this time, unless Marvel decides to do some sort of thing for the whole Marvel universe and send it all back, which would be really interesting if they did it. And could they do it and make it all canon? They can with X-Men, and I can tell you how, but with other stuff, other parts of the Marvel universe, I'm not so sure they could do it. But if there was a way they could figure out to do it for the whole canon and still maintain stuff that the modern fans like, but have it back to 85, 86 mode, it would be an interesting experiment to see if Marvel could pull that off. But that's the way I could see Claremont writing X-Men full time as the main writer again. And so, if you have questions, you can email me at quoththeravenlbr72@gmail.com, subject QTR Q&A. I'll do my best to answer your questions on air. If I don't answer them on air because maybe it's a little bit too sensitive a subject or something, I'll try and email you a response. Okay? So, what else is going on this week? Quite a bit, actually. I didn't get a chance to read everything I wanted to read. We're going to review some stuff, and we're going to look at some crowdfunded projects that are funding currently. and we'll talk about some stuff I got in the mail today as well. Let's start with the reviews. And we'll start with Bermuda number 2 for $4.99 from IDW Publishing. The writer and letterer is John Layman. Artist is Nick Bradshaw. Colors by Len O'Grady. The genre is action fantasy adventure. It came out August 18, 2021. And what this issue is about. Bobby leaves Bermuda and Dr. Nakamura's camp to head to Squall's End, also known as Pirate Town, in order to hire aid to rescue his sister, since Bermuda, that's the girl on the cover, refused to help him. Now, this is, of course, a rather foolish decision, and Bermuda and Nakamura have to race after him to keep him out of trouble. They're too late, of course. Bobby's already introduced himself to the Lafitte pirate clan, and Bermuda has to go in and basically trash the whole bar, their whole hangout, in order to get Bobby back. As the trio flee the scene, Bermuda agrees to help Bobby get his sister back from the Mirror People, which are the kind of like mermaid human beings with their monsters. Anyway, meanwhile, Andy, that's Bobby's sister, has been dragged back to the Mirror's camp, where a Mirror blood mage, that's a wizard for them, recognizes something about her and has her brought to his temple, cuts her hand open, and uses her blood to see through a mystical water chamber through to our world. This, of course, means that if they sacrifice Andy in a ritual sacrifice, they should be able to open a portal to our world. Can Bermuda and Bobby get to there in time to rescue Andy? Well, we're going to have to wait to the next issue to find out. What I think of this is, as much as Layman is clearly riffing from varied sources, Nick Bradshaw is making the book really fun to read visually. I have my suspicions as to where the book's going in terms of plot, but I don't want to speculate because I don't want to have it all figured out before I see the book and then not enjoy it as much. So I'm trying not to think about it too much. I also enjoyed the back of the book process pages where it shows Nick Bradshaw's breakdowns of the pages before he does the finished benches and makes. I love seeing that stuff in terms of just being a process junkie, as it were, but just seeing how he lays out things, how he changes things from layouts to final artwork. It is recommended for ages 12 and up. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Let's go ahead and look at some of this artwork. This is Nakamura waking her up. He opens her eyes with the tail between 2 fingers. I thought that was really funny. The artwork is just, as usual, is just gorgeous by Nick. The coloring by Len O'Grady is very nice as well. I love the cartooning of Bermuda from page to page, panel to panel here. Just really well drawn, really well acted, for lack of a better word, out for different things from panel to panel and page to page. So I'm really pleased with what Nick's doing on the book. Now they're riding their steeds and headed for Pirate Town. And here's this thing where, they're passing by this territory that's known as a thing known as Ver territory. And that's those monkey alien looking critters there. And Nakamura is saying, it's a wonder he hasn't already gotten killed by these guys. And Bermuda's like, nah, just outsiders like you. They're not killers. They just don't like you. You can be friends. And she shows that, and kind of a crazy thing there. So Like I said, I don't want to speculate, but I have a feeling that the Ver are going to get involved in helping Bermuda and Bobby get Andy back in next issue or the issue after that. I'm pretty. I guess I'll speculate and say I would not be surprised if that happens. And this is Pirate Town. This is Bobby going in and trying to get help. Of course, he doesn't have any money because even though his family's rich, he's in a different dimension, and his family's and his father's in the other dimension. So he doesn't actually have money on him, but he's trying to like talk them into helping him to help him get his sister back. Of course, they don't buy into it because he doesn't have cash on him, gold on him. So here comes Bermuda, smack dab in the middle of the fray, and she's just gonna like completely trash everybody in the whole. So it's a cool thing, and we get to watch that next as for the next few pages of the story. But this is as far as we're going to go with the artwork for now. Check out the book. Our next book is Beyond Breach, number 2, for $3.99. Aftershock Comics, writer Ed Brisson, artist Damian Cucara, coloring by Patricio Del Peque, lettering by Hassan Asmani El-Hau. Genre, science fiction, supernatural horror. Released August 18th, 2021. Last issue, Vanessa, that's the girl in the center bottom there, who's the lead character, has stumbled across a young boy named Dougie after the world went kablooey, and extra-dimensional entities started popping up in California. The boy got eaten, and I put that in quotations, by a monster at the end of issue number 1, or so we thought. Vanessa tries to fight the monster, gets knocked out, and wakes up to find herself, Dougie, and the alien critter. That's that little critter to her left in white at the bottom of the cover there. Riding the back of a giant tortoise, which is what you're seeing is the tortoise head there in the upper right corner. And an alien wizard soldier named Samuel Blue Bond controls it. And that's the kind of Cthulhu-like looking critter with guy with a spear there. They explain that he comes from yet a different dimension than the critter does, or the demons that were appearing in issue 1. But he did know that the monster who ate Dougie, yes, technically the kid was swallowed whole and in the monster's stomach. Apparently Samuel kills the pistopod, that's what they called the monster, and freed him before he got to the second stomach, where it would have been the end. Personally, I say that he should be dead regardless, but whatever. My intention, my thought was the guy that he got, chomped on and was, eaten, not just, gulped down, but what do I know? Anyway, the group comes to a town where, because Samuel and his giant tortoise are not normal, it's our type of people, normal human beings. The townspeople start shooting at them, thinking that they're the enemy, and Samuel has to fight back, chopping the hand off of one of the townspeople. Vanessa finally gets everyone to calm down. Samuel heals the guy whose hand he chopped off with his alien medicine, and then that person he just healed gets blown to bits by a group of bounty hunters from Samuel's dimension as they attack and kill that guy, and then they threaten to kill everyone else if Sam doesn't surrender himself, and that's where they end this issue. What I thought, like I said, Dougie should be digested and done, yet he doesn't seem to have even a scratch on him. That's annoying to me. But other than that point, the story is moving along okay, and I think it's fairly well executed until the end scene, where I kind of just scratch my head and think, huh? Okay, it's been well enough explained that Samuel's from a different dimension than the demons or the critter who's on Vanessa's side, but he's sort of this medieval wizard warrior, and now here come these futuristic bounty hunters with power rifles who are after him. Are they from yet a different dimension that he passed through? I'm not sure. There's not enough there to tell us what's going on. It just seemed a little bit odd and not yet explained. Overall, it's not a bad issue. It would have been better if the kid had been killed or at least wounded, in my opinion, or if they had explained a little bit more about who these bounty hunters are at the end of this the page there, end of this end of the story for this issue. But you can't get everything. It is recommended for mature readers. I give it a 3.5 stars. And here is Vanessa waking up. And as you can see, he's kind of like got this Cthulhu esque mask, face helmet thing, whatever on. And she's like, freaking out. And he grabs her arm so she doesn't fall off the side of this giant tortoise, who he calls Turtle, by the way. Good name to have, call your tortoise as a turtle, because they're not the same thing, But anyway, he takes off the mask, and they're wandering the highway inside of California redwoodlands. And of course, she realizes that Dougie's probably dead, or in her mind, oh, if you mean this guy, here he is. He's perfectly sound. He's safe, but needs his rest. And then he goes into explaining that he appeared and, what he did, what the Pistopod's abilities were and everything. Thankfully I was there and able to free your charge before he reached the Pistopod's second stomach. Well, like I said, what's the first stomach? If that's not going to have, enough acidic content to digest someone, of course, what do I know? I'm not into extra dimensional alien biologies. But anyway, it is what it is. It's not bad artwork. I enjoy Koichiro and Del Pecchi's art. The storyline's fine for what it is. I just wish there was more, I guess, more explanation to it than there has been. Our next book is got a TREMORS One Shot for $6.99. The publisher's Aftershock Comics as well. Writer is Peter Milligan with art by Peter Kowalski, color by Brad Simpson, and lettering by Simon Boland. The genre is horror, released August 18, 2021. This book is about Aubrey Clark, a child living in 19th century Victorian England under the strict rule of Protestant Christianity, as he experiences his first epileptic seizure and navigates the aftermath. There's issues of domestic abuse, suicide, and God-fearing exorcism that follow him and lead him to discover the god Tremors deep inside the forest near his abusive father's estate. This is a deeply personal story to Milligan because he's an epileptic himself, and after suffering a series of seizures himself, that's where the story kind of came fully into focus for him. I know several epileptic persons over the course of my life, so I can empathize with the experiences. I can understand what's being presented on the page. It's very well executed, but I don't think that familiarity with the illness is required. I think it is explained and illustrated with really good detail, gripping detail, both in a realistic and surrealistic manner by Kowalski's artwork. But as it progresses into secondary and tertiary themes, the book kind of gets off track a little bit. It does give readers compelling points when you're talking about the bigotry and the oppression and other things going on in the book. It gives them something to connect with that are more relatable to modern times and issues going on in modern times, but it kind of distracts from the point of the illness and the seizures too. So some of those supplementary themes get a bit lost due to the sheer number of them. And this is a one-shot story, and while there are plenty of themes present enough to be perceived in Guide of Tremors, it feels more like they should be presented in a whole separate exploration of context than kind of all thrown into this one book. Um, I would have liked to have seen this been more than a one shot. I would have preferred it to have been a 2 or 3 issue series where you get to see exploration of those themes, different elements of the themes in different issues, rather than trying to get them all in one book. That having been said, I do think Kowalski does an excellent job of creating symbolism in the work. Much like on the cover of the book, tree limbs are accentuated to mimic nerve endings and carefully contrast the hard straight edges of Victorian architecture and design of the backgrounds. Kowalski's shading technique is particularly aware of this. The straight hatching line style that you guys can see, the hatching lines on the hands and tree limbs and stuff in here on the cover and in the grass. That adds a well-formed shadow and structure to his images. His panel layouts, he's a very rigid rectangular paneling style that also emphasizes the strictness of the era that the story is taking place in. But the offset and white space surrounding some of these panels adds to an unsettling nature as well. I think Simon Bellon's layouts and way he's doing the lettering and the narration boxes are reminiscent of torn parchment paper in both color and shape, adding to the sense of the period. And all in all, it is a very well crafted work. It is recommended for ages 14 up. I give it 4.5 stars. And here is the book. I didn't scan it because it is a little bit. I didn't want it to get messed up. Trying to break the break the binding on it. But if you're familiar with Kowalski's work at all, Kowalski's done quite a bit of work for Aftershock. There's not a whole lot of surprise here in terms of what he is capable of doing and what kind of artwork you're going to get. But let's see if I can get you a nice close up here. Really nice textural layout of shadow and form on the trees, and then that carries on over to the statue from panel to panel. As you get closer and closer, you get more and more shading effect to get different kinds of details on there that are very well done. Here he is in bed after having one of his seizures. They're putting an ointment, a poultice on there to try and help him with that. Because again, this is Victorian England. They don't really understand what is going on. They think he's like possessed by demons or whatever. And his father, of course, is a priest and abusive as heck to him. So he's like, I'm not even going to let you have any kind of outside of true Christian remedies or whatever. That's all witchcraft and unacceptable. But overall, just a really well done book. And that is our reviews for tonight, because I just didn't get a chance to get to reading heavy metal this week yet. But I wanted to let you guys know that there's other things going on and other things out there to check out. Now, today in the mail, I did receive Crescent City Magic Volume 1 and 2 from Michael L. Peters. If you guys remember, in Season 1, I interviewed Michael when he was doing a crowdfunding campaign to help him raise money to repair his home's roof because it collapsed. It was almost time for winter. but unfortunately, his connection to the internet was really, really bad, and I ended up having a very crazy episode because I was actually um, he couldn't go camera or phone after a while, and we had to I had to type out all of his responses on screen. So that was kind of a weird episode. Um, but I wanted to let people know I was waiting for the second volume to come out, which I'll show you in a second. But this is the first volume. Nice glossy stock cover. You can buy this on Amazon.com, of course. And this is a black and white interior art. And this came out originally in 2013. And you can go to mlpeters.com as well. It's a story of New Orleans. If you're a fan of the originals or legacies, you might like this. His artwork is very reminiscent of artists like Barry Windsor Smith and Charles Vess. Of course, this is a black and white comic that he has self-published through Amazon without any crowdfunding backing. He says he's going to try and do a crowdfunding down the road. I certainly hope that people will give him a shot if he does do that. Personally, I think all of these books, someone who does quality work like these, it's just really nice stuff artwork wise. I can't understand why book publishers and comics don't pick up stuff like this and pay people what they're worth to get this stuff out on a mass market scale. I don't understand that. It should be happening. And, why it isn't befuddles me. Of course, this is dedicated to his grandmother and mother. Now, I haven't had a chance to read these, so I just got them in the mail this afternoon. So what I will probably do is next month, if I've changed the new format of what we're covering, I'll do a special episode that's just for these particular books. And maybe we'll have Michael back on. We're going to try to have him as a guest back on the show in the future. But just really nice artwork overall. So I got those today, and I'm looking forward to that. Reading those stories. And then we have different things that are going on crowdfunding. Let's start with the baboon, Skull of the King. This is, of course, funded. It has passed its $1,500 goal. There's 101 backers with 23 days to go. I am going to get this. I just haven't gotten around to backing it yet. This is a one shot. From Bowtie Press. That is Jamie's actual brand. That's the cover. And he's drawing this whole story live on Twitch. I think I mentioned this before. So if you go to his Twitch channel, which I don't have off the top of my head, but I'm going to have Jamie on the show before too long. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk more about this book a little bit later. But if you're interested, the physical comic is $6, and it ships in October of 2021. This is just some of the artwork for it. And you can also get the Baboon Bundle, which is the hardcover Muciloid Menace and then the Skull of a King for $30. And why does it cost so much? Because Muciloid Menace is a hardcover that's like 48 or 64 pages or something like that. And so it's like a $25 book plus the Skull of a King book. So that's the main reason why you get it. Costs $30. For $50, you get an original drawing of Baboon or Pink Lemonade comic book backing board. Those are kind of cool. Hope that he shows some of that to the customers when he's watching on Twitch TV, Art of Jamie Jones. There you go. There's the state. That's where you can go watch and draw the book. Twitch.tv/Art of Jamie Jones. If you can't read that, let me go ahead and put that. There you go. And then his schedule is Monday at 2 p.m., Tuesdays at 5 p.m., Wednesday at 3, and Thursday at 3. And then other random times as well. So, cool guy. Fun to talk to, fun to read his stuff. For $3, you get the digital comic. For $6, you get the physical. For $30, again, you get the physical comic and the hardcover Muciloid Menace. And for $50, you get an original drawing. And there's probably going to be some other bonuses, assuming that this builds into a higher campaign. Yes, he's a little over 2,000, 2,100 here. But, if we can get this guy up to, like $5,000, $6,000 funded here, get him like 200 or 300 backers that are willing to back him, I'm sure he'll add some more cool stuff to the campaign as rewards and bonuses for everybody. Our next book to be shared is Jason and the Olympians. This has 20 days to go. It's got 54 backers. It's about a third of the way there. They have a $6,500 goal. They got about $2,300, almost $2,400 here. Let's take a look at the video. Not the best video. It could been a nice thing to start with. I think they should have had somebody come out and tell them what the book is actually about. But okay. This is a graphic novel. This is just to print the first version of the graphic novel. It's written by Shane Berryhill, drawn by Eric Ogle, or Ogle. I think it's Ogle, though. Mattia, Monaco, and Maha Opacek. This book is complete. It is a 64-page graphic novel. They're coloring the final chapter before shipping in December. You can have a black and white edition or the full color edition. They're both completely lettered and ready to be read, more or less. Again, here's some of the artwork. And the story is in the near future, the Titans of Myth return, revealing the dark alien truth behind their legends. The remnants of humanity escape aboard the Olympia, a spacefaring ark. Now, teen prodigy Jason Mukai and her fellow Olympians search for a way to activate the robot Colossi, hoping to unite them to create their one hope for survival against the Titaness, their giant robot protector, Talos. Again, writer Shane Berryhill, lettering, and co-creator is Alex Ogley. The line art is actually Mattia Monaco, colors by Maha Opachik. There's additional coloring by Kevin Lannertz. Black and white is $5 PDF. Color PDF is $8. 10 for both. If you want to pledge $25 for the black and white print version, or $30 for the full color graphic novel, plus a PDF, basically. So those are print editions. You get that. There's a collector's level where you pledge $80 and you get signed books and art prints as well as your PDFs. $115 for 10 books. For this is retailers. Retail price is $20 each, say $19.95. They're giving it to you for $115. Okay. How much of that is straight up $115? Does 25 times 10, or 30 times 10 is 300, which is what, so they're saying 115, and they're saying charge retail 20. You know, I don't know. It's good. It's kind of a weird thing on a retailer level there. But, you know, they're trying to give retailers a reasonable discount. How much they're throwing in to pay shipping, though, is the real question, because shipping is what's really the bear and what tends to block retailers from backing the crowdfunding books as much as anything else. There's a $28 add-on for T-shirts that you can get. They got 5 different shirt designs. I'm not worried about the money, or volume rather. But there's their different types of video, different shirts that they have. You can add them to any physical level you want. It's not bad. Again, here's some blanks, some a little bit better. I would prefer, you know, I mean, not that I have a problem with people wearing, you know, photos of people wearing the shirt. I would like to see just the image, though, so that we can see what it is a little bit better, rather than just how it looks on people necessarily. Here it is. They do have it. Hadn't gotten that far down. My bad. So they are have a little GIF showing you them. So I withdraw my earlier comment. But that's kind of cool. Here's some of the graphic posters that you can get. Blueprint Art 1, Blueprint Art 2 for Talos. And then there's a art print by Alex Ogley. Again, the ships December 2021. That was that Kickstarter. And just to get the other one, earlier. Let me go ahead and post that as well. That is Kickstarter Tales of MFR, the Baboon Skull of a King. If you don't know what Tales of MFR is, that's Tales of Monkeys Fighting Robots. And Jamie's part of that group that does that comic book magazine as well. So let's see what else we got. Quite a bit of stuff, actually. Okay, hold on just a second. I have to stop cam and mute for just a second. Back. Sorry about that. Had heard something downstairs. Had to go check on, make sure my father hadn't fallen or something. So let's go ahead and share our next thing. This is This Land, 1, 2, and now 3 Gods and Monsters. It has been pledged through its goal. There's 161 backers 18 days ago. Kickstarter has cited it as a project that they love. Let's go ahead and watch the video.
Of the Millerville Talent Contest and writer of Hector. As a New Zealander living in Scotland, I've learned a lot about myself and my identity, and wondered why I never learned more about the history and legends which form my homeland. Why did I only have a superficial understanding of the foundation that Aotearoa, New Zealand, was built on? I'm interested in telling stories that show Aotearoa's history and legends is important to the identity of all New Zealanders, whether we're Māori, Pākehā, or Tauiwi. So I created a new world where our people are using the lessons of the past to guide them, literally in some cases, for a better tomorrow. I grew up with Tintin and Asterix books and somehow still remember those French and Latin words from those books and believe that comics are the perfect medium to introduce te reo, the Māori language, to a new generation. Not only for the people of New Zealand, but potentially for a global audience as well. Our story so far, within the reborn world, an ancient god has fallen from the sky. A promise has been made and a bargain struck. Helena, daughter of Axlan, must lead a group of mercenaries against her own people to clear her name and bring her whānau, the family, back from the edge of death. In issue 3, all hell breaks loose. Mor is evolved by the god Tane into a kaiju form to take on the last Tanifal, the water dragon of the White Tomb. The location of Maui is discovered, and someone won't be walking away in one piece. This land number 3, Gods and Monsters, includes 24 pages of art and story, plus 4 pages of backup matter exploring the world. Written by myself, Mark Abnett, art by P.R. Dedelis, colours by Liza Buenaventura, and letters by Rob Jones. Issues 1 and 2 are still available in our catch-up award package and as additional add-ons. In this campaign, we have original art pieces by Kiwi artists Thunder Punch and Limit Break Custom. We have an exclusive variant cover edition and tribute to the X-Men's Days of Future Past by Marvel's Loki cover artist Oscar Yildirim. There's also Araha Comics neoprene can coolers for your fizzy drinks, customized Funko Pops of our characters Helmer and Moore, and much, much more. So why back this land? Well, the inked art for all 5 issues is complete. Issue 3 is complete and ready to go to the printers, pending Kickstarter numbers. We have successfully completed and fulfilled Kickstarter campaigns for issues 1 and 2 this year already. But hang on, you ask. Why don't I just wait till the last issue and get all 5 at once? Well, firstly, there's no guarantee that all 5 issues will be available. I could run out. Secondly, if we are not successful with the Kickstarter for 3, it puts issues 4 and 5 at risk. So please, back early and spread the word. If you're still listening, thank you for your support. The success of the book has so far been incredibly humbling and means so much to myself and the rest of the creative team. Ka kite anō, thanks, and see you all soon.
Okay, so let's take a quick look at this. Again, he is New Zealand born. He lives over in Glasgow. And, he, again, did win the Miller World Talent Contest. So he has done some things. He's been published by Image. He did a Hit Girl storyline for Miller World in the 2016 annual. So he's been trying to do this storyline since 2019 with Glaswegian artist Chris Connolly. And now he's doing this land with PR Dedelis on this particular series. Schism was the one he did with Chris Connolly, I should say. This is a story based in future New Zealand that brings elements of Disney's Moana, Marvel's X-Men, and Neil Gaiman's American Gods together in his, melting pot, his take on all of that. And it looks pretty interesting, I think. They do have stretch goals with trading cards. Again, physical backers will only get the trading cards, mostly because you can't get a trading card if he's sending you a digital file. So you kind of want to get the physical backing if you can. But there are different levels. $3 for the digital platform, $5 or $7. It's £5, $7 US for the physical copy of number 3. There's a digital deal for digital only. He gives you all kinds of stuff. All of this land, all of Schism, the 6 Swords, Damage Inc., all that stuff. But the book's rate from general audiences too mature, so I would be a little bit wary of that until you've done a little homework and find out what that other content is before you order that one. You got the digital so far for this land. You can get pins. You can keep your cooler. There's the variant. There's the previously. And, $21 gets you all 3 physical and digital copies of this land plus a digital ash can. So you're getting 7 items, so to speak. They've also got a coloring book, a few other things in here that you can get as well. I haven't backed it just yet. Got 18 days to go. Some of these I have to be a little more patient with, I guess you could say. Not because I don't want to back them, but more or less for my own budget and see what I have available to me. People are probably asking, why does he have a towel around his neck? Right now, I've got a it's for sunburn type stuff. Okay, basically back there. That's why I've got the towel around my neck. So, fair question to ask me about an hour in, but I guess if you're just joining me. That makes sense. But yeah, I'm interested in the concept. So we'll see where it goes, and let's see what this does as well. Yeah, that's a quick thing about him. His one character that goes into the kaiju mode to fight the white dragon, to fight the monster dragon. That's cool. Again, though, I do think it's pretty interesting. He compares himself to fans who like, if you like Saga, Nimona, Monsters, or Fables, you might like this. If you like films or TV shows like Moana, American Gods, Never Ending Story, video games like Legend of Zelda, War of Warcraft, Witcher, God of War, that's possible. But like I said, it should be interesting to see. He's also doing a lot of the storyline in Terreo, which is the Maori language in New Zealand. If you don't know what the Maori language is, or that tribe, you should look into that online, learn a little bit more about it. Nothing wrong with normalizing that language, normalizing any number of different languages. And having a chance for younger audiences to absorb and learn those languages. That's kind of, a good goal to have, I think. And he's also got different people that are part of the tribe that speak these languages, and they're helping with translation and stuff as well. So, very nice project to consider backing. Our next book is called Kiltopia, number 4, by Dave Cook. And it has 19 days ago. As you can see, it's over double its pledged goal. It is number 4. Let's see what it has to say.
Hey, Dave Cook here. I'm the writer and creator of Kiltopia, and welcome to our 4th Kickstarter campaign. That's a little strange to say because we've been doing these campaigns for a few years now for each of the books, and we've raised tens of thousands of pounds thanks to your help and everyone's help. We really appreciate everyone who's been out there these last few years, talking about the book, sharing our tweets and posting pictures of your book, and it just means so much to us. But we're in the home stretch now. Issue 4 is the penultimate issue. Then all that's left is issue 5, and then we're home free. We've done it. So yeah, it's an exciting time. There's a lot of cool stuff happening in the story, and a lot of big twists that are still to come, and I can't wait for you all to see them. Earlier this year, we announced that we had sold the TV rights to Kiltopia to a TV studio. They're called Voltaku. They're based in LA, and they animate everything in Unreal Engine, which is like really exciting. And I've seen some of the stuff they're working on, and it's incredible. So yeah, there's some really interesting stuff going on there. None of that could have happened without your help, and we're hoping that you guys can support us again this time around. This year we put out Kiltopia 3 again, crowdfunded thanks to your generosity. It's a lovely book, and we had a new team, so we were a bit maybe worried about are you guys going to still like the new art style and the new team? And thankfully everyone's given us great feedback, and that you guys love it. So Clark is back on the art, Lou is back on colors, Micah's doing the letters again. So yeah, we're all back again for the last two books. So yeah, it's an exciting time. So yeah, we also have as a thank you to you guys, we have a brand new lineup of rewards this time. In the third campaign we had a lot of returning stuff, but this is all brand new stuff that you can back and you can order. Brand new prints from brand new artists, which we'll show in a minute, and some new merchandise as well. So yeah, as always, these videos are just kind of improvised and kind of from the heart. So honestly, thank you so much for watching this and for supporting us. But now we're going to have a look at the backstory of Kiltopia for all you newcomers out there, and then look at the plot of Kiltopia 4. So yeah, please enjoy. Thank you. Kiltopia stars Shinji, a rookie salvage hunter who competes in a deadly blood sport to pay for his dying sister's medical care. He fights in the ravaged Sector K district, which blew up 10 years ago. Since then, it has become infested with an influx of killer mecha, which have lived there ever since. Fast forward to today, and Sector K is known as Kiltopia, a cultural phenomenon that sees bounty hunters from around the world compete for money, fame, and glory. Stiletto is the world's #1 wrecker, a greedy corporate hack who sells her cheap merchandise and brands to the masses. Most of the population also happen to be dying of a disease called the Rot, which has been caused by the mech's sudden appearance. Enter Crash, the world's first sentient mecha. Crash and Shinji meet one day in the battlegrounds of Kiltopia and team up to cure the Rot once and for all. There's just one problem. Every bounty hunter, yakuza, and android assassin for miles wants to kill Crash as well. And so, the race is on. Kiltopia 4 shows us a brand new side of the city we haven't seen before. The sadistic artificial intelligence Ayo has hijacked Crash's mind and is tearing Neo-Tokyo apart. Together with a legion of Yuri dolls, Crash is transforming every human in his path into mindless mechanized husks. Shinji, Omi, and the Kishiro 23 militia fight back in a violent street war that threatens to spill out across the city and into the hunting grounds of Kiltopia itself. Meanwhile, Stiletto finds herself truly broken after her defeat in Sector K. With no career, no cash, or no friends to call upon, she returns to the dark origins of her wrecker career to rediscover who she really is. This brings her in direct conflict with the deadly Nezumi ninja clan. The Wreckfest X tournament is just days away now, and the city is in a state of constant war. Can Shinji and his friends help Crash reject Ayo's control and bring peace and order back to society before the main event begins? Lastly, a new wrecker has entered the fight. Meet Bloody Mary and her daughter Lily. Mary is introduced in Volume 4 and will become a bigger part of the Kiltopia universe in years to come. We can't wait for you to meet her. That's just a taste of what you can expect in Kiltopia Volume 4. Lastly, we're just going to have a look at some of the rewards that you can pick up by backing the comic. As I mentioned before, we have new artists doing some great prints. We also have some stretch goal artists who are phenomenal. they're lined up and ready to go if we hit our target. So hopefully we will. But yeah, all that's left to say is thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Hope you like the campaign, and if you back us, thank you so much. Enjoy.
I think that's enough of showing the video. Like he says, it's being adapted for television by Voltaka Studios and Love, Death, and Robots writer Philip Gillott. So if you've watched Love, Death, and Robots, that's who's behind that, and so you can know what to expect from that. Overall, looks pretty interesting to me. I think Ted Davies was the one who introduced this to me. Or mentioned this to me. I don't know for sure. I'm trying to find the way to get all of them. I don't know if there is a way to get all of them in physical or not. I haven't found it. Here we go. $55 for all 4 copies. So you get all 4 physical editions. It's 40 British pounds, 55 American. You get 4 physical editions, the pack of art character stickers that are on the campaign page, digital copies, and digital copies of Dave's other comics as well. So you get quite a bit of stuff for your money. It's not like he's jipping you or anything. That'll come out in April 2022. How do you do? There's a lot of backers in that. 57 backers out of 651. Okay, well, but I guess it's people who want the back there. I don't know how much of this stuff you can get in addition. A lot of build the bundles and stuff like that there. So I don't know, but I'll have to see if I decide to back this, and I might. I haven't committed to this one yet, but it's in my pull list to check out and do a little more research on before I get it. But it looks interesting, so hopefully we'll get that figured out and decide if I'm going to buy it or not. Again, that comes out in April, I think they said when it was going to ship. April 2022, so quite a ways away yet, but we'll see. And then we got, last but not least, Interstellar Space Angel from Indigogo.
Hello, my name is Stella, and I am a space angel. Hi, my name is Jessica Vanderpool, and I'm the writer and artist of Interstellar Space Angel. Meet Stella, the angelic being who takes care of the inner workings of space. Her life in space is nothing short of unique adventures and challenges that only being a space angel brings. But even with every star at her fingertips, Stella still wonders what life is like on Earth and how she can help bring the light of hope to a world in need. I believe that stories can powerfully impact people for the better, sparking new excitement, rekindling old dreams, and inspiring hope that so many people desperately need. I want to get Interstellar Space Angel into as many hands as possible. To do that, I'll be printing physical copies of the book so that it can reach a wider audience. I need your help to make this dream a reality. Please consider backing this campaign and sharing with a friend or someone you know who will appreciate it. And with your contribution, you get some pretty cool things, to include the book, artwork, and some fun swag. This campaign runs from August 3rd through 31st, 2021, so claim your copy now while these sale prices last. Thank you again for all your support and helping me create stories that make an impact and leave people in a better place than where they were before. And as always, onwards and upwards.
Now, the book is $10 for 32 pages, 40 pages of art, really, 32 pages story, 8 pages of bonus art. That is 50% off, apparently. You can buy two copies for $15 as well. You can also get the book, an art card, which is a 5x7 print, a Comet swag, which is a magnet and a bookmark. There's some interesting things here. Personally, if I was going to back one, I don't know. I have to think about that. Pretty much nice stuff. Looks like a fun book that kids will like. Like I said, it's interesting. They've done digital, so and she's going to print like 500 copies for $5,000. That's her limit. That's her target goal is 5,000. And as you can see, she's at $3,553 with 82 backers. Let's see if we can get that number up, folks. Let's, I don't know what people want to back it for, but how many people or what they want to buy. What I mean by that statement. But I would like to see this get to 100 backers or more, maybe 150 backers within the next week. So let's give this a shout out and check it out. There you go, Indiegogo.com/project/Interstellar Space Angel. Again, this is her very first campaign for Jessica Vanderpool. And, I'd rather see people like this get supported than, some of these guys who were Marvel DC people that really shouldn't even necessarily need an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter campaign to get people to buy their books. But we do because, well, system doesn't work right. But I wish more people would back this kind of stuff too. So if you're into the kids stuff or She's whitewashing the moon here. She's mopping the Milky Way. She's hanging galaxies on a clothesline to dry. I mean, it's just awesome stuff there. That's just funny to look at and interesting entertainment to me, rather than the I don't know, politically charged superhero comics of modern times right now, I guess. Let's see what that said here. Tell your niece about it. Okay, well, I don't have a niece, so yeah. Like I said, if give it a chance though, and back that one. I probably will back that. I don't know exactly what tier I'll be backing, but it's a good chance, probably an 80-85% chance I'll back that one. And that is it for the show, folks. I'm pretty much sure because no one's asked me anything other than why I was wearing a towel around the back of my neck, and that was basically because I had sunburn back there from mowing the lawn the other day. I was out too long and just got a little bit too messed up there. So as always, we want to thank you for watching. If you want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Lewis.BrightRaven, at Twitter at LewisBrightRaven2. You can see some of my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You're watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis BrightRaven exclusively on YouTube. If you have questions, comments, Quoth the Raven LBR72@gmail.com. Do my best to answer you either on the show or privately. If you can't reach me there or I don't respond, try LewisBrightRaven@yahoo.com. Mondays have comics news and reviews. Wednesdays we do What Did You Get This Week? I already gave you a little bit of what I got this week with Crescent City Magic by Michael L. Peters. Wednesday we'll also do a little bit of reviews on some other books that I'm behind on, like that Heavy Metal magazine. And we'll try and get caught up a little bit more. Thursday night this week for Roundtable Talk, I don't know yet. Trying to get a hold of person who said they might be available. And Friday, I don't know yet. If I do Friday, it will not be a genre night this week. It will be another roundtable talk with another creator who's over in the UK, and it'll be earlier than 9 because it'll be around 4 or 5 p.m., depending on whether I can get them on. And we'll talk about their project because of the time differential. Because if I do it at 9 p.m., it's like 2 in the morning their time. So we're not going to do that too easily. So we'll see about that. That's Thursday and Friday are a little bit up in the air this week. Live draw Saturday. Again, we'll try and get some other people online and have kind of a, I don't know about, not a draw off, but different people to join me, and we'll just do some fun stuff in the live draw this weekend, hopefully. And that'll be on Saturday, probably. So if you like this video, or you think others might, then hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get content from this channel. As always, I thank you for your support. We'll see you next time. Have a good one, folks.